Hello there, you're watching our television. This is Data Business. I am Pamutha Katagampala. We have our top stories. Sri Lanka maintains export resilience. Government relaxes import restrictions. Welcome back, you're watching Data Business. Now let's have a detailed look at today's stories. Now, Sri Lanka's industrial activity is yet to return to pre-crisis levels as demand destruction policies continue to impact the sector. The major export, apparel, is facing temporary demand slowdown amid monetary tightening and high inflation in major markets. In February, the Index of Industrial Production, which measures the manufacturing heft of the economy, recorded an index value of 84.1. This is compared to an index value of 101.2 a year ago, signaling problems faced by the industrial sector. The index also slipped 1.6 index points in February to 89.1 from 90.5 index points in January. However, industrial activity might have picked up pace from March amid the improvement in the foreign exchange conditions. The optimism following Sri Lanka's successful deal with the International Monetary Fund for a $3 billion facility. This was reflected in the Purchasing Managers Index data for March, where the broader manufacturing sector staged an expansion after 9 months of decline. Sri Lanka's economy was on a roller coaster ride during the last 12 months, hitting a nadir last year before starting to rebound from March this year. However, data would not reflect this transformation immediately until the third or maybe the fourth quarter of this year. The sectors which have the most weightage in the index, such as food, beverage, textiles, garments, and rubber and plastics products, declined in February over the same period in 2022. Manufacturing of coke and refined petroleum products edged up 1.5%. This reflects the dampened demand conditions locally and the demand pullback in advanced economies for things like clothing. Sri Lanka's exports still remain resilient, although apparels have shown some decline in revenues in the recent months. Meanwhile, State Minister Ranjit Siambalapitiya said that measures would be taken to further relax import restrictions on many goods in the future. The State Minister said this at the review meeting of the annual income goals of Sri Lanka Customs yesterday. Sri Lanka Customs generated 12% less than the 270 billion rupees target set for the first quarter of this year. Minister Siambalapitiya identified restrictions on certain imports as key reasons for the revenue shortfall. The minister said that the measures to relax imports restrictions would be a step towards achieving the revenue target of Sri Lanka Customs. Sri Lanka banned the importation of 485 items in 2021 and 750 items in 2022 amid the severe foreign exchange crunch the country faced. However, during the latter part of last year, import restrictions on over 700 items were relaxed. According to the International Monetary Fund, Sri Lanka is expected to relax the remaining import restrictions in a phased-out manner. However, some have cautioned that relaxation of import controls could reignite pressure on the country's foreign exchange front. The rupee has been gaining against the dollar in recent months, partly as a result of Sri Lanka securing an IMF program and the increase in dollar inflows to the country. State Minister Siambalapitiya said the rupee appreciation was among the reasons why Sri Lanka Customs couldn't achieve its revenue target. He said further relaxation to import controls will be carried out in consultation with the Economic Research Department of the Central Bank. Now, the United Nations Industrial Development Organization recently opened a packaging and testing center at the Industrial Technology Institute. This was realized with funding from the European Union. The center facilitates testing and consultation on packaging materials for the food and spice sectors, aimed at further strengthening Sri Lanka's exports. Speaking at the opening, EU Ambassador Denit Shaibi said that the packaging testing center will help exporters bring much-needed forex to Sri Lanka. The center is being opened to provide services in 12 physical and mechanical tests for a wide range of packaging materials. UNITO supported the acquisition of 90 high-tech instruments along with the training of personnel on the instruments by an international expert. The materials utilized in packaging will be evaluated on mechanical properties, chemical analysis, environmental impact, and comparison of materials against others. Gaining confidence among food business operators, services from the center will be delivered as per applicable regulatory requirements both locally and abroad. UNITO International Senior Technical Specialist Dr. Jairo Villamildia said Packaging is important as it prevents spoiling and tampering, protects from outside contamination, and extends shelf life. UNIDO has supported Sri Lanka in building the capacity of several trade-supported institutions and conformity assessment bodies. The Packaging and Testing Centre stands as one of the beneficiaries. Currently, UNIDO, together with FAO, is implementing another EU-funded project titled BESPA Food, mainstreaming standard-based best practices for agri-food sector development. The project aims to contribute to improve local agriculture production. Stay tuned for more stories after this short commercial break. Welcome back, you're watching State of Business. Now, State Minister of Finance highlighted the need for a change of perspective on public debt and its policies to enable developing countries to overcome their ongoing struggles. The State Minister said this speaking at the United Nations Economic and Social Council panel recently.
As observed by the UN Secretary General, many developed countries adopted expansionary fiscal and monetary measures to aid recovery in the aftermath of the pandemic. However, many developing countries could not do so and were burdened with high interest rates and lowered credit ratings. According to the UNDP's paper on avoiding too little too late on international debt relief, 54 countries are categorized as having severe debt problems given the global outlook of high inflation, low growth and high interest rates. My government is committed to make the hard policy decisions needed for the restitution of the economy on sound economic practices. Our experience has shown us the constraints we face in the existing system of the debt architecture, particularly when developing economies are faced with vulnerabilities that are beyond our control.
Now, Sri Lanka's tea production is yet to pick up after being hit by the poorly thought-out fertilizer policy, with the output contracting for 3 consecutive months in 2023. This was depicted in recent data released by the Sri Lanka Tea Board. Data from the Sri Lanka Tea Board showed that tea production dipped by about 3% year-on-year to 21.34 million kilograms in March. However, it must be noted that the dip in productions is lower than the 16% year-on-year drop in January and 12% in February. The analysis showed that the high-grown tea and low-grown tea have marginally declined, whilst the medium-grown recorded a marginal gain. The cumulative production for the January to March 2023 period totaled 58.52 million kilograms, recording a decrease of 7% when compared with the corresponding period in 2023. On a cumulative basis, all elevations have recorded a considerable decrease in comparison with the corresponding period of 2022. Further, when compared to 74.51 million kilograms of January to March 2021, the cumulative production of 2023 showed a decrease of 15.99 million kilograms. According to the data, the elevations showed a decrease over the corresponding period of 2021. According to previous statements made by the Sri Lanka Tea Board, tea production is expected to pick up from the second quarter of 2023. Reason given was the usage of fertilizers after lifting the agricultural chemical ban is expected to boost growth of crops by then. The Tea Board expressed confidence in having improved crop growth from April and expects the output to increase from then on. The production is expected to recover 300 million kilograms in 2023 after the lowest production since 1995 was recorded in 2022. Meanwhile, the United States Agency for International Development and Sri Lanka Energy Program and Sling Mobility recently signed a grant agreement. Now, the grant aims to develop and operate 2 battery swapping stations for electric two-wheelers. This grant, the first of its kind for the program, will fund construction of the stations, also known as battery switching stations in Colombo. The stations allow e-vehicle owners to quickly exchange empty batteries with fully charged ones and avoid the waiting time for charging. The project will recruit 20 new riders to pilot the development of e-bikes for delivery services in a timely, cost-saving and environmentally safer manner. This one grant activity within a large group of grants will assist in catalyzing the development of EV charging stations in the country. USAID Mission Director Gabriel Grau maintains that the agency remains fully committed to supporting locally led initiatives to advance e-technologies. The agency believes that these are critical to promote the progress of a nation in an environmentally friendly and cost-effective way. Lav Yadav, general partner for Sling Mobility, expresses that Sling is a technology solutions company focused on electric vehicles. Its business models is stitched around improving EV affordability and faster adoption, reducing rider downtime, and building a platform for sustainable charging. The USAID grant is an important validation for Sling Mobility's operating model, and the results of the pilot program will show the energy projects and Sling Mobility the feasibility of promoting e-battery swapping stations in the country. USAID Sri Lanka Energy Program supports the transformation of Sri Lanka's power sector into a market-based, secure, reliable and sustainable system. It aims to achieve this by mobilizing investment to deploy advanced technologies, increase flexibility and enhance competitiveness. Stay tuned, we'll be right back with the stock update.
IWS Aviation.
Welcome back, you're watching Say the Business, and now the stock update. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on mixed notes today. The All-Share Price Index dropped 12.23 points to close at 9,279.19, and the S&P SL20 gained 11.77 points to close at 2,722.20. The turnover was 0.9 billion rupees and over 42 million shares were traded. Coming up next are Forex rates. Well, that's a wrap from today's edition of State of Business. For this and more, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on Facebook.